All right, welcome to the People's Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Doug By here with Mike Rossi and G Money as always. And we got a packed show tonight, so I want to jump right into this thing. We got
Let's
our
go.
starts it sleeps. We got Believer Meter. We got Mike's Padlock of the Week. We got rapid fire questions. And we got our DK lineups that we're going to be giving out. So, Mike, get us started with our start of the week.
Well, real quick, Joe, did you try doing something different with your name? Because it's coming up as like Joey, A with the accent mark, G Money, A with the accent mark, Ginolfi. You seen that, Doug?
Yeah, it was actually the other night, and I forgot to mention
was
it.
it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Telling me.
I had no idea. I
watched
just
the whole
noticed it right
episode
now.
and I didn't even recognize it. So
Yeah, me too. I watched it twice.
You can see that now, though, right? You can see it on your screen.
I can't see it on my screen. I see nothing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. For
All
my
right. Anyway,
name, I see nothing. I only see your guys'.
my start of the week is T. Higgins. And I know he hasn't really done much lately. But when you look at what the Bengals have done and what Joe Burrow has done, it was week 5 when you could see the clear difference of Joe Burrow's calf improving and him actually starting to look a little bit more like Joe Burrow. And that was the week that Higgins didn't play just by chance. The next week after that, he still was hurt. He's only played 53% of the snaps. And then last week was the bye. So I think people are kind of down on T. Higgins right now. But I just wanted to put him out there. Don't give up on him. I think he's ready to bounce back this week.
Yeah, he's not only your start of the week, he's actually your buy low of the week in a way as well, right? You just made a trade.
He is. I did just make a trade. It's a league that I'm 6-1 in the league. And I traded DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Warren and got T. Higgins. I traded him to a guy that needed some wins. It's all right. I had Jalen Warren on my bench. I have a great roster, so I'm going to take the chance on him. And if he ends up doing what I think he could do in the second half, then just another piece to win a championship.
Yeah, I like the depth that you gave away more, but it's a risk. Never know.
Steelers got some calls on Najee, so they might be shipping Najee soon. So if Jalen Warren becomes the starter, I do not like that trade.
Well, obviously, if Jalen Warren becomes a starter, I don't like that trade. But everyone's getting calls about everybody right now. That's just not just Najee. Any team that's not playoff bound, or in their case, they are playoff bound. It's just that Jalen Warren is better, is getting calls on their top players.
Correct, but Najee would be a good trade piece for the Steelers. I mean, he's still on his rookie deal, and he's going to need a new deal soon. So I'm just saying, just in case you didn't know.
Mike, Joe, who's your start?
Start of the week, Brandon Powell, man. He had a pretty good game on Monday night. He had 4 for 64. You got TJ Hawkinson, who's banged up a little bit coming into this game. And then Jair Alexander should be on Jordan Addison most of this game. And we all know how locked down he is as a cornerback. So I think it will give opportunity for Powell to get more free space. And then I think Cousins has liked him the last couple of games, and he's done some good things in the slot.
Are you saying Powell, you would start him as like a wide receiver 2 or like a flex play?
I mean, obviously depending on your roster, but I'd be okay with him as a wide receiver 2 this week.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to sit guys for a guy like that, but I like where you're going with it. I think there's a lot of logic behind it. But yeah, I don't know.
Listen, I like pulling the trigger and making those moves, man. I'm
not
the trade crazy guy like Mike, but I like taking chances week to week.
No, to me, it's more. He's more of like a sleeper to me than he is like, yeah, you got to throw this guy in the lineup.
How I feel.
Yeah, that's how I am
about him. I put him in my start, so I'm not gonna lie. When I sent you guys my picks earlier today, I thought about that. I was like, I could probably get away with Powell as a sleeper.
Definitely,
100%.
I'm going for it as a start.
I mean, T. Higgins is a bigger name than Powell. Like most of our starts are bigger.
Over T. Higgins this week.
Wow. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to make a bet on that?
I mean, what do you want to do this time? You still got to wear a jersey Monday.
I know you got to drop that jersey off. I don't know. We'll figure out the bet. We'll keep going for now.
Think about it. Yeah. Think about it. My guy is also a bigger name, but he wasn't even on a team to start the year. So my guy's Kareem Hunt, but he is the starter this week with Jerome Ford out. Deshaun Watson I believe he's doubtful this week, right?
Yeah, he sucks
Um,
anyway.
He sucks anyways. So I think they're going to lean on him. I think they're going to lean on Kareem Hunt. He's the veteran there. He kind of knows the system. He's great at the short dump offs, right? Like just dumping the ball off to him. He's a legit pass catching back. He's got an eye for the end zone. Seattle's their run D is good, but their pass D is near the bottom of the league. So I think that's where he's going to be getting his points. I think they're going to be coming from behind, and I see Kareem Hunt kind of getting a lot of maybe like 4 or 5 catches in the game to go on with hopefully a touchdown and decent amount of rush yards. I love him this week as a start.
Yeah, I think he's a solid play as a start, and I think like you just said towards the end, if they get anywhere near the goal line or inside the 10, he should be getting majority of the targets.
Definitely.
Yep. All right, Mike, who's your sit?
My sit is Brian Robinson. I have him in one league. I'm trying everything I can right now to not start him. You're going to see a trend here week to week. It's Philly's defense and obviously their interior D line. You just can't run on them. And when you have Brian Robinson, where that's what he does is try to rush inside. I'm not starting that. There's a chance that they're down big. And then it becomes Gibson's game. And also Rodriguez is stealing some of the carries. So I don't like anything about Brian Robinson this week.
Rossi, you cop out on your sits. You already said to sell him high on Monday. We already know you don't.
Oh, I didn't even think of that part of it. It just is a completely different episode. But I mean, maybe it is a cop out, but some people might be starting them. And I'm telling you, go like any waiver pickup that you just had, DeMercado and stuff. I'm starting them over Brian Robinson.
I agree with that. I think typically people have to start him, but this week there's no buys, right? This particular week there's no teams on a buy, so people probably can sit him this week, and I agree with the sit. All right, Joe, who's your sit?
My sit is Zach Moss. I think we saw the first comeback of Jonathan Taylor this week. Obviously, he had a big game. He had the touchdown. He had good receiving yards. So I think he's reclaimed this backfield, and I think you're going to see a big drop in Zach Moss's production this week.
Oh, and Doug, let me talk first. He said I'm copping out with Brian Robinson when he legitimately just stole my sit from last week and said the same exact thing I said in last week's episode.
But Zach Moss still had decent numbers last week. He still got 18 carries.
7 points.
Yeah, he had 70 yards rushing. That's still a decent game.
I was surprised
though.
I was surprised how involved he still was, though. 18 carries last week.
Very involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to get anything near that. I think he's going to do worse this week. I think he's going to be a 3 to 4 point week this week. So I think anybody still playing him in a flex needs to sit him.
So how many carries is JT going to get this week? You think he's going to be a 20, 25 carry guy?
I bet you he goes over 20 this week.
Yeah. All right. My sit. I'm finally off the wagon. My sit of the week is Alexander Mattison.
Hey, Akers, he took some of that time.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm actually sitting him on a week that they have a good matchup because Green Bay sucks against the run. But I just think Akers is coming on now. Versus the Niners, I thought Akers looked way better than Mattison. He looked a lot more explosive. Akers can also catch the ball just like Mattison can. And the reason I liked Mattison to begin with was really just volume, right? He was always just a volume play. Once Akers got there, it was like, fuck, there goes the volume. So I look for it to be a 50-50 timeshare this week. And I think it's just going to get worse and worse for him because he looks more like a plotter and Akers looks like the better back. And I'm out.
I'm out. I was like looking down for a second. I was like, Doug's leaving. I'm out. Mic drop. I'm fucking out of here.
Mic drop. Done. Giving up on the guy.
I am giving up. All right. Mike, who's your sleep?
My sleeper it's the guy I brought up a lot this season. It's Elijah Moore. The Seattle defense hasn't been good against wide receivers. I think they're like 4th or 5th worst against wide receivers. And even those numbers are kind of inflated. They've played a lot of bad wide receiver teams and they're still giving up big points. So he's had 7 targets in 5 of 6 games. He just hasn't done anything with those targets. hasn't got the yards, hasn't got the touchdowns. I'm not making it my padlock of the week, but I think one of those two things is going to break this week.
Okay.
But what about how bad those targets are?
I know they haven't been great. I understand that. I just think that he has the potential to break one, and this is the defense to do it against. It's a soft secondary, and whether it's PJ Walker or a hurt Deshaun Watson, it's just a couple of plays. He's going to get the targets. You take one of them for a big play, and it pays off.
So I'm out on Madison, and you're still doing it. You won't give up on him.
I won't. I can't do it.
Loves the guy.
Not yet. Not when he's
Absolutely
getting the
loves the guy.
targets.
I don't know why he's getting targets, but he is getting them. All right, Joe, who's your sleep?
Beats me. I went with Jaden Reed. I think somebody on this offense has to step up this week. I think Watson still got a lingering injury, so I'm not going with him with this offense. Musgraves, maybe I thought about taking, but I think Jaden Reed's the guy going against Minnesota. I think, putting him in the slot, I think Love should look his way again in the red zone like he did a couple of weeks ago. And I think this is a defense that they can be productive against to try to have a bounce back week.
All right. I like that. Again, you probably could have used Powell as your sleeper this week. Powell.
I like the reaches.
You do.
I think Christian Watson is saying he's playing. Well, he's going to at least try to play this week. So if Christian Watson does play, do you stick with that? Is that like a full go with all receivers?
I like it better because then Watson's
Okay.
a decoy to take away one of the better corners and gives more space for Reed in the slot.
Yeah. He's been good. He's been very productive.
Yes.
I'm surprised you went there though, like with your hatred of Jordan Love as well.
Because I just think they have to bounce. I think this game is too big of a game for their season to have a complete letdown.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I still think Love could probably throw a pick or two, but I think they have to be better at this week.
Yeah. All right. My guy, he's a bigger name, but he's another guy that wasn't really doing too much to start the year. He wasn't on a team last year, and my guy's OBJ. This past week, Flowers is getting all the love, right? Zay Flowers is getting all the love there for good reason. Yeah, for good reason. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. But this past week, OBJ had 25.9% of the target share. He had 7 targets, which also led the team, and he had 5 receptions for 49 yards. Now, Flowers did more with his. He had 74 yards and a touchdown. But I think OBJ is gaining chemistry with Lamar. I'm sure Lamar respects him and at least what he has done. And another thing is the Cardinals D is awful against the pass. They're 28th in the league for pass yards allowed. So I like him as a sneaky good play this week. I had to actually drop him in my league this week to go get DeMarcado because my running backs are awful. And I just needed a plug this week.
Your sleeper is the guy you just dropped?
I had to, man. I didn't have anyone else I could drop. I didn't.
You know what? If Lamar plays the way he did, I mean, how good did Lamar actually look this week? That was the best, like Lamar targets. I know I always say they're bad targets. That was the best Lamar's looked I've ever seen him look, actually. So if he can keep even a slither of that up, then this whole offense is going to go off.
And I think it's a healthy OBJ, I think, is helping that as well. I mean, just 2 years ago, he looked great in that Super Bowl, right? Before he destroyed his leg. And he looked pretty good down the stretch for the Rams. I don't know. I think he still has a little gas in the tank. And with Zay Flowers and Andrews, I think they could be a good offense.
Yeah, you just wouldn't do it yourself. You drop him, but everybody else goes start him.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing about this. Like, how do you pick the guy that you just dropped?
So, again, like I said, I needed a running back this week.
I get it. Maybe I guess just pick somebody different for your sleeper though.
I completely get it. Obviously, busting your
OBJ.
Balls, but man, that
yeah,
is terrible timing.
It is bad timing. I probably shouldn't have said what I did. But
if you didn't say that, I wouldn't have called you out because I didn't look at the transactions.
Had no idea.
Well, just in case as well. But he is in my DK lineup this week, so I threw him in there.
All right, yeah, all right. You recover
All right.
yourself a little bit.
He had to bring up what's going to happen later in the episode just to save his ass right now.
Yeah, save his ass. He had to
Nice.
save his. He was feeling the heat.
All right, that is our start sit sleeps of the week. Again, eventually we're gonna have the records out showing how good or bad we are about it all, right?
Yeah, we'll have him. We'll have him for everybody. Don't
Maybe
you worry.
mid-season we should go back, have a mid-season record, and then move on fresh
I
from
don't
there.
know. I heard it from you guys last week that you could do it.
Joe was all about that. Joe said
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna have
haven't
a
had-
lot of time.
Once I am in the house and all the projects are done, I'm gonna go back and do it. Give me like 2-3 weeks, and I'll get our standings up.
All right. Okay, let's go to our believer meter.
Believer meter.
I was waiting for that. You know what sucks, Joe? I was sitting here getting ready for a believer meter, and I just sat here with my notes and I went, believer meter. I was like, fuck, man. Why are you doing this?
We definitely need
Love
some
it.
sound effects for the believer meter.
Love it. Love the effect I have on people.
Well, Joe, I mean, you were a songbird at Mike's Halloween party this
Yeah.
past weekend. So
Listen, entertaining. It's what I do. You know.
yeah, maybe we should just use you for our sound effects.
I don't think we get many viewers with that.
No, you don't think that would work?
No, I don't think that would work. No.
All right. First
Who's number one?
guy is Gardner Minshew. He's starting to come on a little bit, right? I don't know this past week against a really tough Cleveland D. He had 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. Where you guys at on him? We're all pretty similar. I'm a 5, Joe's a 4, Mike's a 4. So go ahead, Mike. Talk about it.
I mean, that was an impressive game against Cleveland's defense, right? Like, that's not an easy defense to do with that against. I think, Doug, you said it going into the week. It was the number 1 defense
They were the number
against
one
pass.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean that. I mean, we've seen this from Gardner in the past. This is what he does. He comes out, he has a big game, and then he has a dud game. It just, I just don't see. I still see him as a streamer week to week. So, but it's not somebody that I'm going to sit here and put a 9 or a 10 as a believer, because then it's giving people confidence to go pick him up as a week to week starter. I just can't do that with him.
That's kind of where I'm at with that. I can't completely buy into him yet. This is his first game that he's done that he hasn't come off the bench, right? We always joke about that. So I agree with you. Joe, I think you're on the same page, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same page. He's a boomer bust guy. He's a gunslinger. So he's gonna have those big number games, and then he's gonna have that game where he throws 3 or 4 interceptions. I think you gotta remember, Cleveland the week before had that huge upset against San Fran, and that was just that game was draining on them. So I'm not surprised that they had I mean, they still ended up getting the win, but I'm not surprised the defense had a letdown game and probably was just still overcoming that San Fran game.
Cleveland is a legit team. Imagine if they still had Chubb and they didn't have a dirtbag quarterback. They'd be
Seriously.
AFC North is for real, man. You can't be down that division.
It's the Steelers being 4-2 is the most outrageous stat of this year. Like, when you think of what the Steelers are, and you
Defense.
just didn't know they were 4-2, I would say they're 2-4 easily. Like, no, the Steelers are 2-4, obviously.
agreed.
This is where why old school football is still great, because a good defense can keep you in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Proving
I've
it
never
right now.
been a Tomlin guy either, but that whole organization, they just keep it going. They're like, nope, we got to just run the ball and have a good defense. That's what we are.
Yep. Like, they don't care what's going on right now.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the same.
All right, next guy, Javonte Williams. This past week, he had 15 carries for 82 yards. He also had 3 catches to add with that. No touchdowns, though. But where you guys at with him? I got a 6. Joe's a 5. Mike's a 7. All right, Mike, you got to talk about your 7.
I believed in before. Let's go pre-injury. I mean, Javonte Williams looked like an actual superstar in this league. He looked like a stud. And I think he's just getting healthier and healthier. He proved it last week. He's taken this role back. Jaleel took the back seat, and it's just going to come to showcase even further. So I just think that this is his team, and it doesn't matter if he's on a bad offense. He's just going to keep getting better and better.
Seems that way. Joe, you agree with that?
I mean, I liked him before the season. I like Jaleel McLaughlin. I think he's got talent. I don't think they should give up on him. I think he actually looks better receiving the ball. But I'm not all in on this offense still is mainly what it is. Like I said, I think last week, this offense just doesn't gel very well right now still. I know they got their first win, but it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, they're still a shit team.
Oh,
There's
the
no
second
question.
one, excuse me. They have 2 wins, not 1.
Yeah. All right. This next guy, he's been a little bit of a surprise. Well, recently. So this last week, little trivia, Joe. Mike knows it, so Mike can't answer. I'm pretty sure he'll know it. He was the number 1 receiver this past week. This next guy.
Number 1 receiver this past week. But Doug, I told you I watched barely any football on Sunday because I was doing house shit, trying to get good in that.
So you didn't have to
watch football on
during the
Sunday.
day. Yeah. You didn't have to watch it on Sunday at all. Yeah.
Oh, Monday night.
Yeah. All right. Now he's looking it up. It was Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison, he had 7 catches for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns.
So I knew he had a good. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yep. So I'm an 8 on him. Mike's a 9. And Joe is a 7. So we're all pretty high on him.
Yeah.
But, Mike, talk about your 9.
I'm just going to go higher than Joe every time so I can talk every time. He just, if you watch that game, he had 2 touchdowns, and there was like 2 or 3 more times where it was either pass interference or Kirk missed him. He could have ended that game with 4 touchdowns. He's taken over the JJ role, and he's gaining the chemistry with Kirk to the point where when JJ comes back, I think he's just going to be Adam Thielen, but a young, healthier, more athletic version. So it's going to be a 2 wide receiver monster is my opinion. And the Vikings winning the last 2 games is huge for this team. They're now 3-4. They're not going to trade away their offense. They're making a playoff push, and that just helps his productivity.
I think they're going to make that push too, man. That division is not very strong. They have a very favorable matchup or weeks coming up here. And I think they look good to me, man. They look legit against a
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that's why though I'm only a 7 because I think they want JJ back as quick as he can. And I think when he comes back, I'm not saying I don't think Addison will be productive. I think he will, and that's why he's a 7 for me. When JJ comes back, JJ's gonna eat. I don't care what anybody says, and Cousins isn't gonna throw for 500 yards every game. So I think he'll still be productive.
I was gonna say that
Hockenson and JJ once they say Hockenson doesn't play this week and they rest him, and then he's healthy after that, and JJ comes back healthy. He's still option 3, I think. I don't think he's moved above either one of those guys.
No, he hasn't. But like you said, I think Kirk Cousins is going to throw it 50 times a game, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why I'm still a 7 for these weeks with JJ out. Yeah, he's a no-brainer, and I'd put him up higher. But if we're talking for the full season, I like my 7 spot.
And
Quick
in
question.
a league where
it's
it's a keeper league where your keeper is based off of where you drafted him, and you get to keep 2 keepers. I just traded for Jordan Addison before last week, and I traded away Joe Mixon for him, and I couldn't be happier about it right now. He's a round 8 keeper, and to have that talent at this age, and he's producing, that's just awesome.
I love that. Yeah, like that a lot. We need to start a dynasty league next year. We got to stop messing around with that.
I really want one. Yeah.
My question was going to be Kirk Cousins when he has a healthy team around him. Where's he ranked? Where do you guys rank him?
As a top quarterback?
No, it's fantasy quarterback.
Oh, fantasy. Top 10.
I think easy top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's in that range. I'm not going to say top 5 or anything, but I would say
I think
8,
he
9,
could.
10. That's my range.
So I think he could be though, because wasn't he before JJ went down? I think he
Yeah,
was
but that
close
was
to it.
before Fields kind of caught fire a little bit. And,
Okay.
again, we said it on Monday. Been a down year so far. I think if I'm looking season long, I'm not putting him top 5.
All right.
I
next
think he's
guy.
gonna.
Go.
I think he's gonna end up close to it. To be honest with you, I think he's gonna be in that 7 or better range because they have to throw the ball.
Yeah, I just think they're a throwing team. There's a throwing offense. And
Do we know where he is right now?
No
do
idea.
you right now?
Oh, I just looked up. He's 8.
He's 8 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
So
no, that's players all. Nope, that's all players. Sorry. He's quarterback 6.
okay, yeah. So I think 5 is very realistic with a healthy
Mhm.
team around him. All right, let's go to the next guy. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Oh, I like this one.
The past 2 weeks, he seems like he's starting to come on. He had 4 catches the past 2 weeks. This past week, he had 4 for 63 and a touchdown. I think the kid's starting to come on. I'm a 7. You guys are both a 5, so I believe him a little more than you guys do. Joe, your turn to talk.
I mean, it's one game. I'm not sold yet. And I definitely think he's got good talent, but I still think Lockett and DK, once they both are fully healthy, are the prime guys. But mainly too, I'm a lot with the quarterbacks with this stuff. Geno's looked like shit lately. I just don't think he's played good the past few weeks, and I don't have faith in him. He's actually probably going to be mentioned a little later on this episode because I don't like him at all this week with his matchup. But I mean, that's my big thing. I think the kid's got talent. That's why I put him at a 5 because I think he's going to be a boomer bust, mainly because it's going to depend on the health of the other guys and then what Geno are you getting game to game.
Yeah, it is going to be on the health of the other guys. And is DK playing this week? Do we know?
He's still
now?
questionable
He's
right
still
now.
questionable. Yeah.
Yeah. And if DK's out, I love him. If DK is playing, that'll obviously change things. But Mike, what are you thinking about him?
I mean, Joe said mainly the same things that I was going to say. I think this is a team that I would love for them to trade away Tyler Lockett. Because if they trade away Tyler Lockett, JSN is just a smash play every single week. But right now with DK and Lockett, they've been there for so long. They have the chemistry with Geno. And this is a week that DK was out, that JSN went off. So with all 3 of them on the field, I still see him playing third fiddle. But I mean, I think he's going to have his weeks, but I just can't rely on him on a week-to-week basis to have confidence in him.
All right. I like him in flex. That's kind of where I was going about it. I like him in flex the rest of the way. All right, next guy. Probably the best Swiss Army knife in the NFL right now. Taysom Hill. This past week he had 5 carries for 18 yards and a touchdown, but he also had 4 catches for 50 yards. And we all know he's a quarterback as well. Fucking Mike. All right, so I'm going 5. Joe's going 7, and Mike went decimals again. Joe, talk about your 7, dude. You're believing in him a little bit.
So here's my thing. I love Taysom Hill, and I wish I had him in one of my teams, and he had that lull where he wasn't being schemed into the offense, so I let him go. And then this past weekend, I was mad that I let him go in that league because that's what he is. You need to scheme with him and bring those oddball plays into the repertoire so he can make those explosive, and just it keeps the defense on edge too. Like it's the opportunities there, and if he gets it, man, I think we talked about it on one of the other episodes. He's a bulldozer.
He is.
Like, especially near the goal line, they should be utilizing him more. They don't. Williams has been hurt, so they haven't been able to have that type of guy. Kamara, when it's that short yardage, yeah, he likes to do that jumping stuff, but he doesn't break a lot of tackles trying to run hard through people. So I think you should see some more of that wildcat offense with him and mix things up a little bit more. I think with Johnson being out, they haven't done it as much. But I think this week they saw the results, and I think you're going to see it work back into the offense more.
I hope so, because he's honestly one of the most fun guys to watch if he's
Yeah.
involved. You know,
Oh yeah.
he just needs he needs to be on a creative offense.
Mhm.
But Mike, you're not buying him, so I want to get your opinion real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Joe kind of said it right there a little bit too. Jamal Williams is coming back, and that was his first game back. Obviously, he wasn't healthy, and I don't know, just to have another piece of an offense that's scoring what 16, 17 points per game, and you already have Olave, Kamara, Jamal Williams on the goal line, Mike Thomas. You have all these people that are already getting something. I just don't trust Taysom Hill to be that week-to-week guy. Again, that's what this is do you believe in starting him? And I think he's still going to be the Taysom Hill we've seen for the past 3 years. So he'll go off. So he's fun to watch. We'll have this conversation, and then he'll disappear.
Is Olave gonna get in some trouble though? Is he gonna get anything?
His was
No, I'm not saying Olave.
he got in trouble for speeding. That's what his was.
Reckless
Yeah.
driving.
Oh, it was reckless driving.
It's suspicious of reckless driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was, he didn't like resist arrest or anything. The video came out, and it was funny. He actually tried saying, "I play for the Saints," and the guy was like, "And?" The cop was, "I'm not buying that at all." It's like, fuck you for even saying that. But no, I don't think he's gonna get in trouble. He might get fined or something, but it's not like anything terrible happened. So he'll still be there. And I'm not even saying that Olave is going to be what we thought he was, because we've been saying that all season, and he hasn't really done shit, but he's still a target and the number one target on that offense besides Kamara, obviously.
You just wanted to put the pie up at some point when you knew we were coming towards the end of Believer Meter.
He did. He did.
Got to get it at least once an episode.
All right. Let's get to the next segment. You hit on it this past week. Jalen Warren had a
did.
touchdown. So what do you like?
Yep.
2 for 4?
Last 2 weeks, right? We're on a little
2 for 4.
streak.
Yeah, he's 50%. It's not bad. Are you
Oh
still
no,
doing?
did Drake London mess you up?
Drake London did not hit.
He didn't hit
Ah,
the
yeah,
touchdown.
like it did. It
Yeah.
felt good.
Felt good.
It
Yeah.
felt good, but it's not. I'm not taking it as a W. So it's
Yeah.
2 for 4.
2 for 4 is not bad when you're calling touchdowns. Are you still calling touchdowns though?
Yeah, I kept touchdowns up. Yeah,
Okay.
I
so
know. I've done it every week. So
all right.
my
Can't change
padlock.
it.
What?
Can't change it now.
Can't change it now. Yeah.
So
This is so much easier to do anyway, instead of looking at overs, unders, and buy sell. It's just so much easier to guess a touchdown. I like that better.
all right,
But-
Mike. Let me introduce it.
All right. Oh,
My-
sorry.
my-
Go right ahead, sir.
This is Mike's padlock of the week. You won't shut up. Go.
My padlock for a touchdown of the week is, Joe, listen closely, Calvin Ridley.
Ooh.
He's going against a Steelers defense that led up some big games to wide receivers. I pulled these stats a little bit. Devontae Adams, 36 points. Nico Collins, 32 points. Brandon Ayuk, 29 points. And Puka, 19 points, all against the Steelers defense. We got a Jags team that's 5-2. And if they want to make a big playoff run, Calvin's got to be a part of this. And if you want your number one receiver to gain some confidence, this is when you do it right now against a soft secondary. Just start forcing him the ball. He's going to come down with some, and this is the perfect week to do it. Count it right now. Calvin Ridley, Steelers, can't stop him.
That was Mike's padlock of the week. I like it, man. I hope you're right, because I have Ridley in like 2 or 3 leagues. So, and I know Joe.
4-2. 4-2 with a great defense, but it's okay. You're gonna call this defense soft. That's fine.
I said,
Yeah.
so did I say defense? I meant secondary.
You said secondary, but it's part of the
Okay.
defense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I didn't say the
Adams
whole defense is soft.
Adams had a big game. Steelers won the game. Puka had a big game. Steelers won the game. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. And I'm not saying the Jags are going to win. I didn't call that. I'm just saying
No,
Calvin's
I
going
know,
to score.
I know. I'm just trying to defend my team a little bit. That's all.
I think a little part of you wants him to have a big game after that big trade you made for him.
I am great if he has a Puka type game and the Steelers win. It's great. Perfect.
How are
I
you
feel
guys?
good.
This is a good question. How are you guys with that type of shit with fantasy?
I fucking
like if-
hate it. I want Calvin Ridley to score nothing.
So
I
if
want my
you're in
Steelers- I
an
want
intense
Steelers.
matchup, right? you're in an intense matchup and you need
I want
Calvin Ridley to
Steelers
score.
to
You
win.
rather
I want
get
my
0?
team to win.
Okay.
I want my team to win. I want my team to win every single game they play. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I don't care. Steelers win. I'm happier if the Steelers win than my fantasy team wins.
Yeah,
I
I
kind of-
usually lean that way, but this year, yeah.
That's because Mac Jones and your team
Yeah.
sucks.
I have like mixed emotions. I like find
We're
myself
facing the Steelers this week. I mean, this
like-
year. We'll see what happens with that. But go ahead.
if I'm going against a team that I have one of their receivers on my fantasy lineup, I'll just like if they get inside of the 20, I always think to myself like, oh, if you're gonna score a touchdown, just let it be to that guy. That's it. That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I care about.
Yeah,
Just let it
there's
be to
that
that
as well.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point in time, you like giving up on it. Like, they're going to score
Yeah.
a touchdown. Just be that guy. Be the guy I need it to be. All right. Again, Mike's bad luck of the week. Let's move on to the next. We're going to do rapid fire questions, boys. You guys ready for
I
this?
love this. do it.
Let's try to get this quick here. All right. All right. Joe is intense right now. Joe just
Ready.
like
I'm
got
ready.
like a foot closer to the screen.
I'm ready.
and Mike's getting all zinned out. All right,
Mike's never looked worse, by the way.
I didn't mention the hair. He's
Never
he's
looked
doing a
worse.
new hair every week, and he's trying to
Never looked
figure out what he wants to be like, and he'll figure it out.
I kind of
one
like this one.
day. Yeah, little stepbrother vibe to it. All right, rapid fire questions. Let's start. Question 1: Jonathan Taylor versus New Orleans or King Henry versus Atlanta?
Jonathan Taylor.
John Taylor.
Over under 2 tush pushes for Eagles at Washington.
Over.
Over.
Buy or sell Kelsey is tight end 1 at Denver.
Bye.
Over. Bye.
Okay, Dalton Schultz at Carolina or Dalton Kincaid versus Tampa Bay.
Kincaid.
Schultz.
Buy or sell Russell Wilson is a top 12 QB versus Kansas City.
Fuck no.
Sell.
Over under 2.5 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson at Arizona.
Over.
Puka Nakua at Dallas or CeeDee Lamb versus LA.
CeeDee Lamb.
Puka.
Over under 6 catches for Keenan Allen versus Chicago.
Over.
Over.
Buy or sell CMC continues his touchdown streak versus Cincy.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was an easy one. Saquon Barkley versus New York Jets or Jameer Gibbs versus Las Vegas.
Gibbs.
Saquon.
All right, that was it. So we were gonna make a bet on that, right? And we didn't have Andy tonight, but it was gonna be a Halloween bet.
I know, but the thing I'm realizing now is you'd have to answer them too. But I don't
I
like
know,
the
then
fact.
you just got out of it.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that if we do that bet now, me and Joe had to rapid fire those, and you and Andy
And
have
now I
time to
can
look
think
up
about
shit.
it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we can't do that. We're gonna have to think of something else for Halloween. I don't know. But
DK lineups.
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah, let's
That's
do that.
actually really good. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Mike's gonna dress up regardless because he likes to dress up. So
No,
It is fun.
yeah, we can save the jersey for a different day.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little out of control when we're like in December and you guys are like, Mike, stop fucking dressing up. And I have lipstick on at that
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah.
gonna get
yeah.
a little bit much.
All right.
Oh man, how are we friends?
Let's do it. Let's do our DK lineups. Mike, why don't you start us out with your quarterback this week?
My quarterback, we just talked about him. Lamar Jackson. I spent up. I believe that he's going to do it back-to-back weeks. It's a weak Cardinals defense. He's 8,100. I think he was the third highest quarterback for as far as price goes. But yeah, I think he's going to have back-to-back great weeks.
All right, Joe, quarterback.
Taking a QB of an offense, I think is going to have a chip on their shoulder this week, and I think a defense that's going to be coming off a big win, but they're going to be celebrating too much still. And I'm taking Tua for 7,700.
Okay. All right. So I'm going the other way on that same matchup. I'm going Mac Jones because he was way cheaper at 5,000 for good reason. I know it's Mac Jones.
McCorkle?
McCorkle himself. But he's coming off a good game. He hit 270 with 2 touchdowns, right? And they're going to have to score. They're going to have to pass the ball. So he might have 4 interceptions, but maybe he'll have 3 or 4 touchdowns to go with it. All right.
I'm trying to hold in my dinner right now.
Mike,
I'm sorry.
Mike, your running backs.
My running backs, I spent a lot more money at the running back position with Christian McCaffrey. So when you ask, is he going to keep up his streak? Obviously, if I'm taking him at 9,200, I think that answer is yes. I just think Debo's out. This offense needs him to go off every week. They just lost 2 straight. Purdy hasn't looked great. He's going to resort to check downs. I just see this being a CMC week.
Joe. Oh, your second running back.
He's
I'm sorry.
got 2 running.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always do
he
that.
wasn't
I
going
forget
that way.
Yeah,
either,
he stopped.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
He stopped.
Isaiah Pacheco is my second running back. They're going against the worst rush defense in the league in Denver. He's 6,100, and he's looked good lately.
Okay. Have you had Christian McCaffrey like every week? I feel like you've had him in your lineup every week.
Last week I had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce,
Oh, yeah.
so I couldn't afford him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That ended up working out for you, though, no?
Oh, Andy was a Monday. Yeah. Well, that was the only 2 positions I got right because everything else is a fucking dud in my DK lineup. But
Joe, who's your running backs?
So I went with Gus Edwards for 5,500 against Arizona. I think he'll get a couple touchdowns this week. He's not going to get huge yardages, but I think he'll have a couple touchdowns is what I'm banking on.
How much was he?
And 5,500.
Okay.
And then I took Alvin Kamara for 7,300. I mean, just what he's been doing alone, receiving the ball. He's worth it. He missed practice today with an illness, but I'm hoping he's going to be good to go on Sunday because I like him for the price right now.
All right. I also went CMC. So I liked him this week.
Guys are paying money.
well, you spent like $0 on McCorkle, so
Yeah, they gave me money actually for McCorkle. So it's like, I might as well put it somewhere. I'll go CMC.
And then learns the guy's name and doesn't stop with it.
It's such a fun name.
Just-
How can you not say McCorkle every single time?
I can't believe
That's
you just
hilarious.
learned that today, actually, though, too.
I just learned that, and I will never call him Mac again. His name is McCorkle from
Okay.
now on.
All right. And then my second running back is my start of the week. I already talked about him, Kareem Hunt, and he was only 5,200 for a starter this week. I love that.
Ooh, that's a good price.
Mike,
It is.
your wide receivers.
All right. I got T. Higgins. Talked about him. Make him my start of the week. Got to have him in my DK lineup. He's 5,900, so that's probably as cheap as it's going to get for Higgins. We already talked about it. Calvin Ridley. If I'm going to say he's going to score a touchdown, I'm going to have him in my DK lineup at 5,800. Going against that soft ass Steelers secondary. And then Joe, to give you a little boost back, I got Deontay Johnson at 5,000. It's
That's
DK's
cheap.
a 5,000. It's
Full
a
PPR.
PPR
Yep.
format, so that's a smash play.
I like that. That was cheap for him.
Hmm.
All right, Joe, who's your wide receivers?
Wide receivers. So I got the stack part of it. Went with Tariq Hill. Paid the 9,500. I think
Tariq.
he whatever. Tariq, whatever. 9,500 against New England. Give me 200 yards this week, please. Then CD Lamb. Going with him for 7,600. I think CD, these guys coming off the bye, is going to have a big game this week against the Rams. And then I took my start of the week. I took Brandon Powell. He was 3,200. So I think it's a great matchup. And for that price, I'm not saying no.
3,200 is what he was?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have somebody just start of the week and 3,200 and not have
And
him in
not
your
take
lineup,
him.
right?
Yeah.
Have to.
That's a great price for him, though, too. All right.
Sleeper price.
It's a sleeper price. It's not a start price. It's definitely a sleeper
for
price.
sure.
All right. I spent on my first receiver. I went Jamar Chase again. I feel like I have him in my lineup every week, just like how you have
Yeah, you
CMC
do.
in your
Yeah,
lineup.
you
every
have
week.
Chase all the time.
All the time. He was 8,100. I went Calvin Ridley, so I really am hoping that you're right about that because he looked cheap to me, 5,800. And yeah, the Steelers are 30th ranked against the pass, so I like that against the wide receivers at least. And then I stacked McCorkle with Kendrick Bourne, and he's still cheap, man. He was only 4,700. This guy, he's producing week
That's
after
cheap.
week right now. He's still only
Yeah.
4,700. So,
Good price.
all right, who's your tight end, Mike?
Well, I mean, when you spend on CMC, you gotta save elsewhere. So I went Trey McBride with Zach Ertz going. Yeah, with Zach Ertz going on the IR, he's gonna get more opportunities. So he's only 2,800, and I think that's a pretty good pick right there.
I like it. Who's the matchup though? Who they facing?
It's Baltimore, who's
So it's a
good
tough
against
matchup,
tight ends.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough
They're
matchup.
good against the pass, period. They're one of the better pass defenses, but you got to think that they're going to be down. Like Arizona should be down early and have to pass. So I like them. I think
Exactly.
that's a good. I think it's a good wild card pick.
It's true. All right, Joe, who's your tight end?
I'm going with Logan Thomas. I like his matchup against Philly. Last time they played Philly, they put up 31 against them. So I like Thomas to get his red zone looks in 3,400. I'll take it for that price and take a chance.
I feel like Logan Thomas is his guy that he has in this lineup every week. It's just Logan Thomas.
We all
He's
have
just
our
on my
guys, right?
fantasy team, so I talk about him and Sam Howell because they're
Yeah.
my stack in one of the fantasy leagues.
All right, so my guy might change because it is just Wednesday night right now that we're recording this. But I went TJ Hawkinson for 6,200. He got pretty banged up on Monday night. I don't know if he's going to play or not. But if he does play, I mean, he's just a target monster right now, and
Yes.
he's great. Anyways, Mike,
If you change him, you're gonna have to change a lot because there's no one else around his price range, right?
yeah, if I change him, I'm gonna have to change mine up
At
quite a bit because he's
6,200?
6,200. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look at that. I'll look at that right now while you talk about your flex.
Okay. My flex. Oh shit, where is it? There it is. I have it's
Doing great.
my
We're doing great
sleeper
right
of the
now.
week. It's my sleeper of the week, who is actually $900 more than Joe's start of the week. Elijah Moore at 4,100. I already talked about him, so I won't do it again. But it's hilarious that he's almost $1,000 more than Joe's start of the week.
All right. Hawkinson, yeah, he's 6,200. Kittle's 5,400 right underneath him. Mark Andrews 6,400 above him. So I'd probably have to change up quite a bit. You're right. You
Yeah.
are correct. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Joe, who's your flex?
Lex, 3,200, taking a shot at Valdez Scantling, having a big game again. He had 3 for 84 and a touchdown last week. I think Mahomes has struggled going to the other two in Sky Moore and Tony, and I think you're going to see more deep balls this week again to Scantling and try to stretch this defense out after how they played awful against them last time they played.
Not bad. How much you say he was?
3,200.
It's cheap too. Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah. All right. Here's my sleep. My sleep of the week. ODB. I think you called him
Okay.
ODB a couple weeks ago.
Did
Joe.
I? Me?
No, Joe
Joe?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, Odell Beckham. That's what he is.
Is
He's
it?
ODB.
Oh. I was just thought it was OBJ.
It's OBJ though. Yeah. No
Yeah,
one
it
says
is
OBD.
OBJ.
ODB.
But I like the ODB.
Okay. Nobody corrected you. So I was like, is he right? I don't know.
Joe just can't admit when he's wrong. He's like, I always do that on purpose.
He's
ODB.
old dirty
Old
bastard.
dirty bastard.
Yeah,
I like
no,
ODB better than OBJ.
I know.
Okay. All right. Anyways, yeah. So here's my sleep of the week. So I had to plug him in there at flex, and he was only 3,800, and I like him for that price as well.
Yeah, good price.
Mike, your defense.
Defense. Cleveland. 3,000. They just proved even when they let up 38 points, they could be the top scoring defense in the league. So I'll take them against Seattle. Even if Seattle scores, they're gonna get some of theirs. So I'll take it.
Don't hate it. Joe, who's your D?
Defense. I picked them last. I do with whatever I got for money to work with. And the best of the bottom I thought was Minnesota. So I took Vikings D for 2,500.
Yeah, that's cheap. Who are they playing again?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah. That's actually not bad. That's pretty good. All right. So you guys already busted on mine for before the show, but I went Patriots. They were the cheapest defense there.
Fuck, it's so
2,000
stupid. Against
They're
Miami
2,000
in Miami. When
against
did New
Miami
England ever play good in Miami?
They haven't, but none of the season makes sense. So I said it last week before the Bills game. I was like, they're gonna win this game, and they
I'll
fucking
tell you what,
did.
Doug. It's the most sensible thing you've ever said.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Dumbest pick you ever made, but I
Was-
get the logic
But most
behind what
sensible
Joe's
thing.
thinking.
all right. I don't know if that's one of your stayaways. It's probably one of your stayaways. But Mike, who's your stayaways this week?
All right, got one at every position again, Doug. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Good job. He's
So-
learning how to read directions. He's doing good.
My quarterback, I got Matthew Stafford. He's 6,600 at Dallas. He's only thrown 2 touchdowns once this season. It's not worth it. My running back, I got King Henry, 7,600 versus Atlanta. There's a lot of rumors he's getting traded, and there's no real need to showcase Derrick Henry. Everybody already knows what he's going to do, so I think you're going to see a lot more spares this game. My wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, 6,000 against Cleveland. Cleveland's really good against receivers. We don't know how healthy he's going to be, and JSN could take some of that role. My tight end, Evan Ingram, 4,500. Steelers are actually good against tight ends, even though they're terrible against wide receivers. And at 4,500, I just think that you can downgrade from tight end and upgrade other positions is worth it. And then my defense is it's actually the Dolphins at 3,800. I think Belichick is going to try to slow this game down. He's going to try to limit mistakes. So I don't think they're as appealing as they seem against New England.
There you go. I like it. Joe, who'd you stay with?
Stay away. Quarterback, stay away. Gino, 5,900. He's been struggling. Receivers are banged up. I don't like the matchup. I believe they're playing Cincy, right? No, they're not playing Cincy. Fuck, I always fuck this up.
Cleveland.
They're playing Cleveland. Cleveland, like we said, has a good defense against the pass. So I don't like Gino for that price. Derrick Henry, like Rossi just said, I also had him. Atlanta's good against the run. So I think, like he said, Spears is going to get more snaps this game. I don't like Amari Cooper at wide receiver for 6,200. I just don't trust the quarterback and the quality of targets he gets. So pretty much stay away from this Seattle-Cleveland game. I think it's going to be an ugly one. Tight end, Kyle Pitts, 3,900. I know he had a good game. I think this is going to be a back to letdown, back to reality with Kyle Pitts.
Boo this man.
And then
Boo
defense, do not pay the 4,300 for the Eagles defense as the top defense. They let up 31 to Washington in Philly and only had 4 points. So don't pay 4,300 for that.
That was week 1. And Sam Howell is on a record pace for times he's been sacked this year, going against the best D-line in the league. Like, if there's a chance that you're going to take, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but to say stay away from them at 4,300, I think that's wrong.
You're going to pay the most, the highest thing. And also, it was not week 1 that they played Washington.
What was it, week 2?
They played New England week 1. So.
No, it was week 4 they played them.
Oh, all right. Well, either way, they've left
the
most
sacks
in the league.
Schedule.
It was close.
I will not off the top of my head. No.
When we started the season against Washington, no, they didn't.
All right. Okay, so my quarterback stay away is actually Sam Howell. Just talking about that game because he's just been getting sacked numerous times. Philly D, I think, is just going to swallow him up. I don't think he's going to have a great game. He was 5,200. Barkley, 8,000. Too much against that run D for the Jets. I like the Jets D a lot. They are legit. Jalen Waddle against New England, 7,500. He keeps on getting hurt, man. The guy keeps getting hurt, and he hasn't been producing this year. So 7,500 was too rich for me. For
just
tight
when
end,
you say sensible things.
For tight end, I'm probably wrong about this, but Kelsey at 8,400 just seemed like too much for a tight end. And, he'll probably go off and have 4 touchdowns because he's wide open all the time. But I just don't want to spend 8,400 on a tight end.
No, but I think DraftKings had to do it for what he's done the last 2 weeks.
They kind of did. Yeah. And then I actually had the Eagles on there as well, man, for a defense, though, because I don't like spending up on defenses. It's
4,300. Absolutely not. You need to get a touchdown or 2 to be worth 4,300.
Yeah.
No, you know what? In that sense, I agree. I don't like spending up on defenses either. I really don't. But to pick that one, because I think a lot of the times DraftKings gets it wrong, where it's just because it's a good defense, even if it's against a high-powered offense. But this is, if the Eagles come away with double-digit sacks, I wouldn't be surprised. This is a team that is it's the best
like
pass rush
bet.
in the best
like
line in the
bet.
league. No, I said I wouldn't be surprised. That's not a bet.
That sounds
But I'm
really
not
confident to
betting that.
me. I don't know.
You want to bet?
Oh, I hate you
sacks?
both.
I bet
The
you
confidence
they don't get
level.
8 sacks.
No, I'm not betting anything. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. Jesus, guys.
Over under 5.5 sacks.
I'll go over on 5.5. Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah.
go over 5.5. Okay.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
Joe, would
what
you
is he
make a bet on that or
averaging
no?
right now? Do we know?
No, I'm not touching.
I don't know
that.
if I even.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to make a bet on that. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if you had made me pick, I'm going over.
Okay. Did you guys think about the bet from earlier or no?
No,
No.
I hadn't thought about it at all.
Okay.
Completely forgot about what it was.
Okay.
What was it again?
I did as well. I just remember there was a bet between the two of you. You guys were going to think about what you were going to make it about. And
Yes.
good. Very good. All right. And then for the Halloween one,
Stuff's
that is
getting
good.
old, man.
For the Halloween one, it is going to be the DK lineups. Okay.
I like it.
I like that a
makes
lot.
sense.
And then so loser wears
Yep.
his Halloween costume. Do we pick the Halloween costume? How are we doing this?
I think maybe I can put a bunch of Halloween costumes on a wheel. Only ones that you can do like overnight. It can't be like something ridiculous, But I'll
Yeah,
put
I
a
was gonna
bunch on the
say, I don't-
wheel
I
and
don't
we'll do
have
that.
I don't have much Halloween stuff, so I might
Yeah.
have to borrow something. If
Yeah, we'll do something easy, but I'll put it on the wheel, and whoever the winner doesn't have to do it. The other three have to spin. I just wanted to say one last thing, Doug. People watching this, if you're watching this for DK lineups, we're doing this episode on Wednesday. So if you're watching this on Friday or Saturday or Sunday morning, go check out the Instagram first to see nothing's changed.
Yeah. And what is that Instagram again, Mike?
The People's Fantasy Football.
There you go. So you said there's going to be 3 losers. So there's only going to be 1 winner out of the 4 of us. That's how we're doing it.
Oh, of course.
3
yeah.
losers. Okay, good. I like
God.
it. I like it.
I thought
it was
the-
just one
I
loser.
just thought just the bottom guy had. To
I did too, man. That's where I was
Oh,
going.
I
with
like it the other way around.
We'll discuss that and get Andy's
Okay.
opinion on that.
All right.
it. Andy's not going to want to do that shit.
All right. We'll see. We'll take it to a vote.
I don't know how embarrassing. Like I wore a Mario costume to your Halloween party. Is that good enough or no?
No.
No, it has to be
Yeah,
more
see, that's
embarrassing.
the
than-
thing.
Especially-
I don't have any weird costumes or anything. I'm not going out and buying anything.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
No,
wanna
but you
spend
can
money on
borrow
this one.
lipsticks from somebody or something, Joe.
He's all about men and lipstick. He just
drag.
No.
it's the second time he's brought up men with lipstick.
If it's only one
He's got a
person,
lot of it.
if it's only one person, we're gonna say like the last place has to do something. It should be worse than if it's all 3.
Okay. So we're gonna have to discuss, and then
Yeah. We'll come
Well-
back to it.
we'll come back to it.
Tune in Monday
Tune in
for a
Monday night.
surprise costume.
All right, boys. That's the show then. So for Mike and Joe, I'm Doug. We'll see you guys next time. Later.
Peace.